Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to Fantasy Forecast for Wednesday, January 4th, 2017. Behind you, you do not see it yet, sorry about that. Winning lineup for yesterday, cash games only, but like I try to stress, I build my lineups in a, with cash bases. So the GPP upside, well, I do think of upside, and it is there sometimes because the GPP lines aren't truly that much higher than the cash lines, just because of the way lines are constructed. A cash game is designed to win, more than half the field. It's not designed to take the very top. So yesterday was an example of that. It won the big double up comfortably. I mean, right in the middle of the pack there, top 25% or so, 50-50s, all that stuff cash, but GPPs didn't cash. And you can see that when you're looking back at my scores the other way. So, Randall, just an amazing triple-double right there. I mean, just perfect. Made up for TJ Warren just disappearing. Partially his fault, but not really. He went cold in the first 5 minutes when they started, and, a normal starter would continue to get some more run, but they just said, no, you got 40 minutes the last game, we're just going to give you 20 today. So you cannot put rhyme or reasons on the sun, and that's probably one of the players where I just need to reevaluate every time I take a Phoenix guy. Unless you're certain on the minutes, it was still a win, so let's move on to today. Today is going to be incredibly stressful. You're donating your money to the community if you're not paying attention a lot today. I'm going to tell you that right now again. Your issues are, there's Cleveland value, there's Miami value, there's just all different ways it can turn. So I have a cash game lineup here, and I'm kind of predicting the way the absences are going to fall. Kay Felder and Payton at your point guard positions. No Westbrook, because with Depot back, Depot soaks a little bit of Westbrook's usage, and at 11-8, I can still say, hey, he needs to score 59 fantasy points in order to hit 5 times value. I want to look for 6 times on a 7-game slate, or even higher. For him to do 6 times, you're looking at high 60s today. And that's just like, wow. Can Westbrook hit 70 points? I don't think he can hit 70 points today. I mean, I think 50s, high 50s, sure, but I don't see 70. So, Felder and Payton, good value. Cleveland looks like they're probably going to rest the entire team. Irving, yes, he's hurting. If his hamstring's pulled, look at it this way. LeBron doesn't show up for practice, for shoot around because he feels like garbage. He's sick. Kevin Love gets the same thing. Food poisoning, illness, you call whatever you want. They're both going to be sick. And, they talk. They're buddies. It makes sense. They might share the same flu bug. It happens. So, both those guys go down. Why should Cleveland even bother trying to rush Kyrie into service for a game that they can quite possibly lose? With a good record, you can let a game like that go. You can play a pop strategy. You can just rest. And I think they'll see the light at the end of the tunnel and say, Kyrie, take the night off, which means Cleveland value across the board for the low minimum price guys. I have no problem stacking a cash game lineup with cheap Cleveland guys if all the Cleveland people are going to be out. There's your first prediction. You're going to lose both. You're going to lose King James and you're going to lose Love today. And I think Kyrie Irving sits as well. That's your prediction 1. So taking advantage of that, Felder. Moving down the lineup, taking advantage again, Channing Frye. Gotta have Channing Frye. Out of the players on their team that will create offensive production in the lack of everyone else, Channing Frye. He hoists up shots in a doubling of minutes or even a touch more of what he normally would run. I don't think it's out of the question to see Channing put up 30 points today, which would be like an 8 times value. So you go for that. Start there, which makes it a little simple, and then start to fill in the blanks. When I started to fill in, I was dropping right in on our man Brogdon. And if you're going to play Brogdon today, I have no issues with it. I think it's a wonderful play. I think he can pull you 6 times value. I think Payton can pull you 6 times value too. And at a higher price multiple, at 6,000, if he pulls 36 points or something crazy like that, and why do you think Payton can do that? He's playing Atlanta. Atlanta's been horrible against the point guard ever since Schroeder came back, and because Schroeder plays not a lick of defense. And, as long as they're going to continue to give it up to the point guard, then let's play the point guard, especially since he comes riding off a hot game. I don't know if that's going to bounce up ownership on him some. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at Brogdon and, then spend up. And you might see some Brogdon Payton combos maybe around there instead of Felder. But I think that Felder's the way to go, and I think you can safely fade Brogdon for a little bit of separation. More of a tournament thing, but works just fine in cash because I want that cheap Cleveland value. So, point guards. For your shooting guards, Alphabet and Crab. Alphabet is just lovely against a beat-up New York team, no problem. He plays kind of a point guard, he plays kind of a shooting. He'll find the slot that he needs to against that defense and just start to take him to the bank. I think Alphabet's in line for easily above 50 today, if not 55-ish. So I like Alfie against the Knicks today. On the reverse end, you gotta like Melo. With Porzingis sitting, Melo and Noah both get big bumps. Now Noah is so ancient, I mean he's my age, so I mean I don't see riding him forever, to be quite honest. He just doesn't have the get-go, I don't believe. But you can take a few other guys. So, Alphabet, Crab. Crab's gonna be forgotten in the mix today, guys. You've got exposure to that late game, which I think you all are going to like. Everyone likes to have a little late game exposure, but in this case it works out because not only have they been trending up on his minutes, he played 40 minutes in the last game. And it's been just boom, 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 steady, up, 30, 31, 35. It just keeps on bouncing. If we're going to say that's a college spread, but he hit a high, he's still looking at 36 minutes today in a very fast-paced game. I'll take it. I mean, they'll probably play from behind. Golden State's probably going to kill him. But I still see Crab seeing a ton of minutes. I don't see why they wouldn't run him. Butler. Now this one's going to be all over the place. After he puts up like 80 points, we all know. But this comes down to Dwayne Wade sitting. And Dwayne Wade is probably going to sit again. Now if Dwayne Wade happens to play and you're getting this news, don't even wait for me to release the update. Pull him. Find a way. All right? Because he's going to definitely have his usage impacted and he's not going to have the same kind of ceiling performance again. But in the absence of Wade, he'll still be the one-man show over there. So while it might not be 80 points, you can reasonably expect a 50 spot. And that's like really good value for $9,300. So Butler, Anthony, in the Porzingis absence, gotta love that you can fit him in this lineup. Mirotic. Now Mirotic plays on the whole, okay, Rajon Rondo is gone and Michael Carter-Williams is kind of garbage. And so where do you go for a little bit of extra offensive production? And it does seem like they're turning a bit to Mirotic. I've seen that he plays more than half the game, and what other intrigues me about this is if this lineup is playing that Cleveland is going to be so beat up that they're missing Kevin Love, and you're going to run someone like Channing Frye as the opposing guard, oh my god, I'll take Mirotic all day long. I love it. So Mirotic and Frye, you can just run them against each other and for cheap prices get a ton of production tonight. Which leaves you at your center spot with DeMarcus Cousins, and you gotta love it against a Miami team that is also similarly thrashed. Instead of worrying about who's gonna play on Miami, who's not gonna play on Miami, do I need to take that really cheap Willie Reed value? You can just forget about it. I mean, I personally think James Johnson is gonna come back today, which is gonna really cut into Willie Reed. There's also another player from Miami that I think is coming back. I'm forgetting the name right now, but it's going to really cut into that value. And I don't see a reason why you should worry about it. As long as you're missing the Whiteside component, you're missing the Justice Winslow, the defensive component, beautiful. Take Cousins because they have no one to stop him inside at all. He'll just run down and take him to the bank. I mean, why worry about, is Noah going to do it today? Is, against him, Monroe going to have a good game because the Knicks suck at the center? There's a lot of different ways you can go at center, especially if you want to middle out and, cut half of his salary and drop one of these other guys up. Say you don't, And if Cleveland ends up playing King James and LeBron or Kevin Love, this lineup would be tossed. Now you should get this news. It's an 8 o'clock lock and, lineups lock at 7, but they normally tend to announce this more than an hour before. I would play on this side though, and this is our cash game lineup for now. But be watching Twitter. Because if you don't watch Twitter, my description's in the link below, or you're not following just to get that last minute update, basketballmonster.com, whatever, you can get really hurt today. This is one of those games where you can tell a lot of people are going to jump on Miami value once it materializes. They're going to jump on Cleveland value once it materializes. People will be looking at Fournier being out. There's all kinds of different little absences today. So you need to pick and choose your value carefully, and if you're going to fade out a big spot like Westbrook, you need to have logic behind it. All right, that's your Fantasy Forecast FanDuel lineup for today. I know most of you guys have done your research, but I kind of picked a little bit on the games and what's going on here anyway, so I don't think I need to go through the positions. If you have questions about a particular player, feel free to comment below in the description, and I'll give you much when I think about them today. For your cash game lineup for today, and be watching for an update. Felder and Payton at your point guard positions, Alphabet and Crab at your shooting guard positions, Butler and Anthony at your small forward positions, Mirotic and Frye at your power forward, and Cousins for your center today. Guys, thank you so much for watching Fantasy Forecast. Give me a big thumbs up if you won some money on the lineup yesterday, if you like today's lineup. Comment below if you don't like it, and I'll give you my opinion. Well, you can always differ. Constructive criticism's great. And again, I hope you guys go on out there today and go win some really big money. Thank you so much.